Okay, we're following up here on part 2 of this video on September 9th, Wednesday, the day before rollover. Once again, this is going to be another installment of our ongoing free education on volume-based trading at eminiprofiledaytrading.wordpress.com. You can review all the videos from the beginning to get a pretty comprehensive education on how to trade with market profile and volume in your intraday trading of the E-minis, the euro currencies, other things. Now, picking up where we left off, we had just seen this breakout, which was confirmed on very strong delta. Now we're going to look at the rest of the day and see how it played out, because it had a couple of interesting setups that can be very useful for us to understand. So you can see that the delta was very positive on this run-up, and as the bars even paused for 4 minutes or so and the delta diminished, the next bar would pick up a little more delta, then a little bit of less, and then all of a sudden very large increase of delta. Now that can be a warning there, and we'll see that it was. If we look at that high bar there, though, it was confirming still on positive delta, but then it became a very quick dramatic reversal, and we're looking at in the middle one here. You can see my arrow has this nice circle around it here, that the delta reversed. So this is the kind of correction that you generally only want to take part in if you want to scalp, because if the volume and the delta were very positive at the extreme, then generally the correction will see reduced volume and maybe some negative delta, but that's generally a correction in an ongoing up move, at least for a certain period. Now, as we continue to look at the 4-minute bars, that was a tradable couple of points, but it also would have been, a possibility to exit there, rather than what a lot of people do is they trail the bars or whatever. But with the delta, you have an opportunity to get out very close to the major swing high. When you see a delta reversal like this, you might as well just take profits on everything, because you can get back in if the delta is going to give you a sign to do that. So let's see how we play a small pullback in an obvious strong directional move. Now, starting with the 4-minute time frame, we can see again that the pullback, we had a spike in volume and a spike in delta right there, and then an immediate delta reversal. Now, the sell-off volume on these two 4-minute bars was extremely low. The delta reversed, but that kind of low volume sell-off is really representative of a buying opportunity. Now, there wasn't much upward action either. This is the starting at 11 o'clock Central Time, which is often very dead. They call it the dead zone or whatever. But nevertheless, we can get information from this. As we see this value area develop on the 1-hour time frame, as we are right at this new value area high of today's trading, developing only during the current day, we can see that on the retest of this very weak pullback, once again the volume was very low, and there just was no interest by the sellers whatsoever. Now, that's actually a good enough reason to buy after a strong up move like this. So that's one thing we can hang our hat in. First of all, hang our hat on. That's a very, very low risk. I mean, you're talking about risking 3 or 4 ticks there if you get in a tick from the low here, which you had 12 minutes to do so. Now, let's look at it on the 8-minute and see what might have been available there. The same pattern, but a little bit of a pickup volume there on this 8-minute bar retest, and even delta. So again, clear confirmation, no sellers willing to commit, and you can see the volume picking up 2 bars after that low, and a steady increase up to a pretty good tradable high. So Going over back to the 4-minute, then you can see how the same setup played out. You had confirming positive delta and increasing volume, and any point in here on the 4-minute, say 34.25, 34.50, was a confirmed buy, but this particular very clear doji tail here was a reason to get in on increasing volume and evened out delta. But at any rate, somewhere in here in the 34 area was a buying opportunity, and it did peak out up here at 36.25. So a good trade. But now, what do we see here? This is a very clear setup now for a reversal over the next few bars. So that's what we're going to look at next. Now first I'm blowing up the 15-minute chart. Now of course during the trading day I'm putting all three of the time frames. The 8-minute is over on the left, the 4 minutes in the middle, and 15 minutes over on the right. So I can see all three at the same time. But for the purpose of this video, just to blow it up because I know YouTube shrinks the videos, we're just going to look at the 15-minute first, and this is what you're seeing with all three of them together. So this is the high bar, a very clear shooting star hangman or whatever they want to call it. But the delta is a strong divergence. You had the highest delta on that part of the up move there, and the delta is a clear divergence there on increasing volume. 3 bars in a row of increasing volume over a 45-minute period, with a clear rejection where they ran the stops on the morning high and then they failed. So then at this point you also have the big picture that's telling you that you might want to be looking for this an hour in advance. That's the important thing to recognize. This is giving you that information well in advance, because after this spike in delta and volume at that straight run up, this isn't really looking like a runner day anymore. It ran up till 10:30, but they never got back over this high between 10:30 and 11:30. When you see that for an hour, that's a warning sign right there. And when they finally get around to doing it at 12:30, and then that becomes a tail, a 15-minute tail, which is very strong, and then the point of control is right there above, and it's immediately slammed 8 ticks lower. Yeah, that's a very clear signal that cannot be missed. And you had it setting up on the other time frames, of course, simultaneously, but when you got over here to the 4-minute time frame, which you would be looking at it in real time again, but you can see I think that's a famous pattern of the dead black crows or something. But you had the delta reversing, and then you always look for the retest. But on the retest, the delta is all these bars here are net sellers, and so that's telling you this thing's going to break. So you had a lot of confirmation for what you saw was a rejection, that there could be some significant follow through, and this narrow range here, the volume and the delta were screaming at you. The volume increased significantly from that low volume on the up closing candle. This is actually kind of an engulfing. It opens at where the previous one closed, immediately dropped and closed under it on 3 times the volume, and huge predominance of delta. So that's under any circumstances, but then it did break. And the attempt to regain was a doji that was broken strongly with increasing volume all the way down to here. So that's the kind of setup you can get on a breakout that doesn't follow through. So you have the delta revealing how you turn around in trades too, and then you had another one here at the low where the clear turnaround was on diminished. Then the volume after this rally on the next low down was on less volume, and then a significant increase in volume on the rally after that. So the final low was an increase of volume, but substantially less than on the down move, and a diminishing delta for about 10 bars here until it evened up just after the low. So and that held above value, and the strong increasing volume on the rally gave you the rest of the day. So delta and volume combined gave clear signals for major turns on this Wednesday.